Hello there everyone, welcome back to another episode of Tutorial Tuesday. We're on week 2 and I'm going to introduce you to the art of directing right after this intro. So welcome back guys, this is the first strange shaped episode I have to admit. We're actually talking about blocking today. And the reason why the camera is looking like this and not pointing towards me at my face is quite simply because we're talking about drawing. When we come to doing stuff like this, making a shot list, maybe having a look at storyboarding and stuff, the over the shoulder onto the piece of paper is the way we're going to go with it because, you know, we're actually talking about something that requires a heavy amount of drawing, and that is blocking in particular. So let's talk about why blocking. Why do you need to block your scenes in film? And what is blocking as well? Maybe of course a little bit of a talk about what as well as why. So blocking actually is in essence putting characters in place. So placement of characters. So blocking in essence is the step process just before we actually make our shot list. It tells us where the characters are going to go, where the cameras will sit. It gives us an overall aerial view of the scene we're about to shoot. So in regards to what, it is mainly about the placement of characters, and why. So it helps us with shot lists. And then it also actually allows us to visualize the actual overall scene. Helps us visualize the way in which we're going to shoot stuff, the way in which people are going to move around the scene. It helps us bring it to life in a setting where we don't have to stand in front on shoot day and look at the scene and think, right, let's sort this all out now. We can able to pre-choreograph moves. Let me spell choreograph right. Choreograph. So it allows us to pre-choreograph moves. And then, in essence, then visualize how our shot list is going to look and how our crew and our cast are going to act on the day. So that's why. Now let's look about 3 important things about blocking in particular. So the first most important thing here I've written is characters. So the characters on screen, so maybe Lucy and Jimmy, and whether they're going to look towards each other or not. That is the most important thing, I reckon, in blocking. So we need to know whether they're going to move over here, whether she's going to move around this way and chase after him and come over this way in the end. You know, it's really important that we know what our characters are doing in each scene, and that's number 1. Number 2 is the camera. Arguably even more important is, you know, where is camera 1 pointing towards? And where's camera 2 pointing towards? And on the next shot, do we do a wide over here? Where's that going? So there's our subject, and there are our cameras pointing. Number 2, camera is really important. And then the third one is lights, and now I've highlighted lights like this because that's mainly for a DOP. And the reason why I put it on the 3 most important things is quite simply because a lot of the time directors, they do multiple roles, and quite often the directors have to sort the lighting and the DOP work too in a very small budget short film. I've done that quite a lot myself. So the DOP and lights, where are my lights going? I might put one here, I might put one just here, and then I might put one here as well. Try and draw a triangle carefully. So then I know that my character is going to be well lit from all sides. So that's that. Let me now go to the key. What I mean by a key is, in a map you have a key. You know which one a footpath is, and you know which one a road is, and you know which one a pedestrian is, right? That is a key. And we do a similar key for blocking as well. So a blocking key would go like this. This here, characters. And you can put a name in, like Lucy. That's our character. That's character Lucy. Okay? And then we have cameras. After that, there's our triangles, which are our lights. Then after that, of course, you've got movements, because that's quite important. You need to know that this solid line is cam movement. And this dotted line, character movements. And then finally, we've got 2 more things. We've got a solid line with an arrow, which is direction, and that's camera direction. And then, of course, finally, dot, 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 arrow. And that is where our characters are moving to. So that there is our key. Putting it up towards the camera, perhaps, if I can get that right. There we go. That is our key. The next one I'm going to do now is an example. And it's going to be an example of a scene that we shot from Interview. It will actually be the interrogation scene. The bit where Lashai, the character, the guy who played our evil bad guy, goes, "You!" And then, we do quite a lot of technical movements in that. And I want to try and show that on this here. So the first thing that you'd do is you'd get an aerial sky view of your scene. So in particular, my scene is a rectangle shape. So we look at the rectangle here, and that is the sky view of the garage that we shot in. I've got this from reference images. I've stood in the scene myself on a recce. We know that there's a big door here on this side. There's another door here. And we've got a pram for some reason in the corner. Shelves here. And then here is out of bounds. Because there's bits and pieces over here that we know. There's bits and pieces there, there's bits and pieces there. There's stuff there that we cannot go past. So there are out of bounds lines. So now that we know that we've got our setup, that's our top-down view. So therefore, we now need to place our characters. So we've read the script through, and we know that in the scene, there's particular shots that we want to do. So we know that our character is being interrogated. He's being intimidated by a big, menacing character. So we know, for example, straight away, if it's an interrogation, he's going to be sat in the middle. I'm going to put J for JD. So he's going to be sat in the middle of the room. He's probably going to be on a chair. So therefore, we know that instantly our first camera shot can establish our scene. Establish our scene. A nice wide shot or an MCU or a CU, whatever you want to do. That establishes us. Now we know from there that our character Lish, played by Lish, I'm going to put an L, comes in from one side. And at that time he is looking in this direction. And he then rotates around the back of JD. And he just ends up here. In this new position. And then he threatens him. So what we need to do is we need to capture this on camera. And how we originally planned to do it was we wanted to move the camera around in a motion that will follow Lish and point here at the back of JD. Because we know then that once we reveal that happening, Ella, our other character, she comes in. And she does a very similar thing to Lish. She comes round this way and threatens JD. So that's what we needed to do with the camera. We needed to rotate it all the way around so that we could then comp in and start again. Rotate it back around. Only halfway this time. To here. So we got our side shot. Now we know that we need to do extra shots, safeties as such, just in case. We had a super wide over here, pointing in at the whole scene. We also had a side shot, pointing in at wide. And we also had a close in, just here, that was pointing in towards JD, over the shoulders, towards where Lish ends up. We need one final shot, and that is our long shot. Just over here. That points down the barrel, straight at JD. So there is an example of blocking. This is how I've set up my shots. I know that 1.1 is here, 1.2, 1.3, 1.4. And that is great. What you can do to make it a bit easier, I've got a big thick pen, as you can see. It's kind of thick-ended, so I'm not really able to do it. But you can actually write 1.1. 1.2. that will formulate your shot list. 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, 1.4. So we know that 1.1 is our establishing shot. We know that 1.2 is our ECU, our extreme close-up. 1.3 is our wide shot. 1.4 is our two shot. We've got everything covered there. So it looks really hectic once you finish with it. If I bring that camera up here, look at that. There's dots everywhere. But in reality, what's really important is this. As long as you know, then that's okay. As long as you know what's going on, and as long as you are confident and comfortable with the way you've blocked it, it'll help you write your shot list, then that's okay. Thank you very much for watching, guys. Really do hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll speak to you all in the next tutorial. See ya.